Hey, everybody. Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised on the Radio. I am one half of this show. I am Colt Brocato, my good friend Patrick Blair in Zoom land, as usual. It's been 3 weeks, possibly a month. Life has been hectic. I feel like I say that on every episode now, but it really has been. And now summer's going to hit. So let's see how things roll.
Yeah, that's
But
my bad.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's been times where you had to cancel because of something. And I'm like, oh, cool. You did it, not me, but I probably would have. So
Fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
but it's
Take the
okay.
heat for once, would you?
Yeah, right. So you moved
I
to
did.
like right down the street,
Kind
apparently.
of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
I have not moved yet. I don't have furniture. I have a bed.
Okay, hang on a second. Speaking of that, I have a question because
Okay.
you messaged me. I like a good friend, I offered to come up and help you move stuff.
Thank you.
Like you're like, thanks, we got movers and everything. And I'm like, oh, cool. So then like 2 days later, I asked you how moving went, and you're like, well, I paid $700 for movers to come move a couch and a piano.
Not even a couch.
Not even a couch. So
Couches
just
are
the
easy.
piano. Just the piano.
No, they move more than the piano. The piano is
Okay.
what I did not want to move myself.
I got you. Okay.
It is the heaviest, most awkward fucking thing you'll ever try. Dude, I'll never again. I will hire a mover just to move that again, explicitly. Like, no, it was a piano, it was a grandfather clock, it was not much else, like bookcase and like fuck man, I don't even remember what they moved at this point. Mini fridge, a dresser, maybe, our bed. They did move the bed. Okay, so here's the whole point. So like we're selling our house. Okay. Which, by the way, if you have a home and you want to sell it and make some money and get it on the market, do it right now because the market is red hot. I can't even begin to tell you how crazy, insane crazy it is how much money we're going to make on our house. We knew we were going to make money, but dude.
I have something to say about that.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know if the market is different down here or how interest rates are affected. I know other people who put their houses on the market at the same time. And apparently it was like at the same time that interest rates skyrocketed at the banks, like went from like the 2s to the 6s in a week.
Yeah. People thought the interest rates it was going to screw the market because right now it is a seller's market, and it didn't slow it down at all. Now, with that said, we are in a coveted area of St. Louis.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
People want to move here. People want to bring their kids here. People want to be here. So when we were, for several reasons, reason number one being we just outgrew our house. We just wanted a bigger house. And then reasons beyond that, which I won't get into, came to the conclusion that we're like, all right, we need bigger. We're going to buy. We were getting pre-approved, and I just go, all right, we got approved for this amount, but we had a real conversation with our real estate agent, and then my wife and I just alone. And I was like, look, maybe we just sell, and then figure out what we want to do next, whether it be we rent, whether it be but we decided that we weren't going to worry about getting pre-approved for a bigger, more expensive house, because we also don't want to be house poor. Like, we do fine, don't get me wrong, but what we wanted in this area, because we didn't want to leave this area.
Right.
So what we wanted in this area, I was going to have to start selling my farts online or start hooking or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be house poor. We like going out. We like doing things. We just didn't want to be working to pay a house payment and just, we're not budget people. We are in a practical sense of like bigger things, but as far as like living our lives, we're not that way. And I think that's a healthy way to live. It's not always the best way to live. If you don't have the money, you can't spend it. But what money we do have, we like to spend it,
That's always actually funny to me. There's places around me, I don't know about around you in the city, but like around me where I will see people that live with like a house that may be like a 2-bed, 1-bath. Yeah. But they have like a massive camper outside and really nice cars outside and stuff. And I'm like, That's an interesting, I mean, maybe that's the cool way to live. Like, you know, let's not pay so much on like a house payment.
Right.
Let's get our money and spend it on the things that we really worry about and we really care about.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of funny you say that. A friend of mine was just in town from Minneapolis over the weekend, and I'll explain why in a minute. But we hung out. So we had an event that we did. He and I and a bunch of other people on Saturday, and then on Sunday, he came over to this new place that I'm in, which I have a piano, a table. I don't have a couch. I don't have furniture, but came over and hung out anyway. And he was just telling me he owns 3 businesses. He works his ass off, and he's like, dude, where I live, I'm surrounded by people that like have nicer cars, have bigger houses. And he's like, what am I doing wrong? I go, maybe you're not doing anything wrong, man. Maybe they're broke. Maybe they're in debt to their eyeballs. Like,
Right.
you don't, and I had to explain to him, like, I get what you're saying, believe me, because look, dude, I'm not a materialistic person necessarily, but I like nice things. And when I get things, I like to keep them nice. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it is so much to do with how I was raised, not only with how I was raised, but also who I grew up with and how much they appreciated what they had. All of the like private school friends I had growing up, and I mean like younger years, like growing up, they didn't give a fuck about anything they had. They trashed it because they knew they would get a replacement next week. Whereas like all the kids that from my neighborhood and surrounding areas who grew up in working class families, and it doesn't matter. It kind of matters on some things, but it doesn't matter about the color of their skin or whatever. They appreciated what they had and they took fucking care of it, dude. You know?
Yeah.
I knew several kids in high school that went to school with me that had 3 cars during our entire high school experience.
Jesus.
Now, not just like 3 beaters, no, like 3 fucking nice cars, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I have a friend of mine who to this day, the same guy who lives in Minneapolis, has the car that he drove in high school because
awesome.
he worked his dick off to get it. He kept it in flawless condition. And now he can register it, I think now or soon can register it as a historical vehicle. You know,
oh, really? That's cool.
It's a beautiful car. It's a Ford Thunderbird. It's beautiful.
Okay, nice.
Dude. So there are those people, and then there are the folks that just like, I don't care if anything gets broken. I don't care if anything gets trashed. I'm going to get a new one. You know, I just told him, I was like, look, man, you know as well as I do, and his parents have money, believe me, because he moved out of our original neighborhood right when we started high school, and he moved into this like flourishing, like rich neighborhood way out west. But, you know, his parents were modest about it. They weren't crazy. And it's not like his dad was a mechanic, but he just so happened to work for Ford. So I can only imagine the pension he has now being retired.
Right.
And his mom had a cake baking business, right? So it's not like they're like, but nonetheless, I said, dude, I was like, you're a dad, you have a family. Don't think about it that way. I was like, do what you want to do and just enjoy it. And if you want something bigger, get it. You know how to work hard. You know how to save money. You know how to take care of your money. Just don't worry about what other people. And I think it was just a condition of, I think it's where he lives too, man. I think it's like, I think he wants to be back here. Well, I know he wants to be back here. I know he does. Because he's not in Minneapolis proper, excuse me. He's in like, I don't know, 30 minutes south maybe, or north, whichever, it doesn't matter. But like, it's a very small town. It's very like, you're sort of indoctrinated into, if you have money, you have it because it's like a legacy thing. My point was, I was just like, dude, don't worry about it, So that's why we're here. We ended up finding a house less than a mile away from the one we're selling. Bigger, way bigger, much more space, which is what we wanted. But we also didn't want to leave this area. And when we found it, it was just right place, right time. And we're so happy we didn't leave the area. It's a little more of a bizarre part of the area. I'm not going to get into details. When you come over, maybe you'll notice. Okay. But yeah, man, we like I said, the market's hot. You got a house, you want to sell, you want to make some money. If you can make some money, do it. We got a cash offer on our house. First of all, Second of all, it was huge, way bigger than our asking price, way bigger than we ever expected. We were just like, oh, this was a good idea. And our whole mindset behind this is we're going to pay off some debt that we have, you know, which will in the long run help us save money on a regular basis. And, you know, we'll wait it out a year, see what happens. And then
I think you chose the right plane anyways, because I've seen people do that, like that whole contingent thing, or like say I find a house and I want to buy it, but I have to place a contract on it contingent upon me selling my house. And I'm like, you know how many things have to fall into place to make all of that happen? You know, it's just if you can do what you did, even if you have to stay there for 6 months while you're looking for something else, man, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. And I mean, we won't even be saving up for the next house necessarily. We'll just be saving up, you know. We'll be fine. It was a great move. We're super excited. But yeah, I don't have any of my shit. That's why I'm holding this mic. So yeah, I hired the movers, and it was, I mean, like I said, when it comes to the piano, it's $700 well spent.
Yeah. I want to ask you about that. How do they move a piano? Do they have to take the legs off of it? Because they can't turn those sideways, right? Because of everything in it.
They can't. No, they took the legs off. They wrap it. They put it on a dolly, not a dolly, a cart type thing. Yeah. So, I mean, the way they moved it obviously was much easier. But I want to meet the man who created the first stand-up piano and smack him, or woman, or whoever. Forgot it's 2022. You can't just assume. But yeah, I want to smack him. That and the guy who created, or I'm sorry, the guy or woman who created foam soap. Does foam soap piss you off like it does me?
No.
It's not soap. It's not soap. It's bullshit. I'm convinced.
Feel like, I'm trying to think of times that I've used foam soap, and I think I can see why it would piss you off. I don't think it even gets your hands as clean. It's
not soap. You have to think about it because you've never bought it, because it's dog shit. It's bullshit.
This has to be a recent scenario that you've had. You don't just make this stuff out of nowhere.
I don't like it. Yeah. So I'm glad to be back podcasting, at least, even if I am holding the mic. There's a lot going on. You're right.
Yeah. So I didn't know.
Sunday will be the moving day where I go grab all my other shit. I'm not hiring a moving company. I'm going to get a truck and do it myself, like I've always done, because it's really not that terrible. The bed, the piano, there's one other big thing that I'm like overlooking and I can't remember, but nonetheless, here we are.
So I have been waiting, like we talked about a week ago, about moving our episode, like recording episodes, you know, till middle of the week, just for at least through the summer and stuff. And I was looking forward to recording today. So then I get to work today and I'm there for a couple hours, and all of a sudden my wife calls me and says, "Hey, we have an issue." I said, "Okay." She said, "So your grandparents both tested positive for COVID." Jesus. And I said, "Okay, so that's an issue in itself, because my grandparents are in their 80s and they're both not in the greatest of health in general."
Vaccinated?
Yeah. Vaccinated, boosted, all that kind of stuff. So the second issue is that my parents were with them last night, which makes this an issue because my mom is who babysits my son.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So my mom's freaking out all day long about the entire scenario. And we're fumbling around trying to figure out what we need to do. Luckily, my wife works in the medical field and kind of got to talk to some people. And so I went ahead and I left work early and I came home, relieved my mom. My mom and my dad both did the COVID home tests and both were negative.
Okay.
But the thing is, we don't know how long my grandparents have had COVID, and it can take a few days before a test can say that it's positive.
Right.
But we went ahead and I took my son, who's 9 months old, and had him tested as well, and he tested negative. Then the only reason we were freaked out, though, is because we do have pollen out like crazy, and I think he's going to be an allergy kid, but he has had a runny nose and all that kind of stuff, so we've been kind of freaked out. But pediatrician told us that in kids under that are around like 4 or 5 or younger, the worst they've seen with COVID is just like basically the symptoms of a cold.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean,
I heard that at the beginning, but I don't know that I've paid attention to it that much recently.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah. So as of right now, we're all good, and I'm hoping it stays that way. And the good thing is, I guess we're going camping this weekend, so we're going to be away from everybody. So even if we may have a camper full of COVID, but at least it's just us, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I took a COVID test last Friday
Yeah.
because my entire house was sick. We never tested my son, and he still has a cough, but
Has he
whatever.
ever been tested?
No,
No. So, I
no.
mean, of course, my son's only 9 months old, and this is the first time he's been tested, but he took it like a champ, man. He didn't scream or cry or anything.
I
I mean,
scream and cry every time. It
she
sucks.
shoved that thing pretty good ways up his
Oh
nose.
yeah, they hit your brain. Yeah, that sucks. No, I took one because I was feeling he was sick. My wife was a little bit sick, and so then I finally started, and it took days. I finally started feeling it, just like congestion, and you know, uh, I had the beginning stages of like chest congestion and a cough.
Yeah.
And I had an event to go to on Saturday, so I took a test just to be safe, and I was negative. So it's my third test in I don't know how long, but
Right.
whatever. I guess be responsible and not take it out into a public room. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have done that several times that I know of, because you even got tested like before we went to that Inimical Drive show back in like February, because you knew you were
Yeah.
going out public and you were feeling crappy. I mean, I wonder what the percentage of people, especially now that everything seems like it's died down, what the percentage of people is that actually, I feel kind of crappy, but I got something to do. Let me go ahead and take a COVID test to make sure. Wonder how many people are actually doing that, or they're just like, COVID what? COVID who? And just walk away from it.
I am gonna make an educated guess here and say that the percentage is low. But well, it was funny. I was at this event, I was setting up for it, and I was coughing, and my buddy was like, "You all right over there?" It's like, "Don't worry, it's not COVID. I got tested." Remember a time when you would just show up to a place a little bit under the weather and you just did? There was never a red flag. There was never an alarm. There was never anything. I mean, some people will be like, "Hey, you sound sick. Maybe you just go home." But like, you feeling a little bit under the weather. You got shit to do. You do it. Now it's like, don't worry, it's okay. I don't know. I'm just being courteous, and I would hate to fucking be the person that goes into a public place like that. I mean, there was hundreds of people, I guess, close to hundreds of people. I don't know, but people there, and I don't want to be the person who spreads COVID.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't want to be that person.
Right.
But well, we need to say R.I.P. Ray Liotta.
Yeah. Okay. So did he pass away today, or was it yesterday? Do we know?
Dude, I was so busy earlier that I haven't really read much about it. You told me he passed away in the Dominican.
Yes.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to say RIP. It's funny when someone dies, we always like try to get into not you and I, but just we as a society try to get into the details right away. It's like, hey, he just died. Maybe we just chill for a moment. Like, I get it. I get why we do it. I get it, but
yeah. Well, you know why? I guess especially when we're podcasting and stuff, which I guess it doesn't really matter because we don't really fact check ourselves anyways.
No, who needs to do that? That's stupid.
But a lot of the times I want to know, but a lot of the reasoning I want to know is because I don't want to spread, like if I talk about something like this with somebody, I don't want to spread misinformation about it. Technically, what I'm saying, like the Foo Fighters drummer died and stuff. It's like what people
Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, Taylor Hawkins. When what people were thinking as soon as it happened, right? They were thinking overdose or whatever, and I hate that.
Oh yeah.
I hate that mindset, minds have to go there immediately. Right. And that's why I try to stay away from it as much as possible. I'm just like, give me the facts so I know.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it's good to know, but 67. Ray was working on a project in the Dominican Republic called Dangerous Waters when he passed. He passed in his sleep. He is survived by his daughter, Carson, his fiance, JC. Yeah, man. What a bummer. 67. That's still young. That's considered young, right?
I don't think he looks 67. Do you?
No, he did not look great. He did not look great. No.
Yeah.
but he was a smoker and I think a heavy drinker and, all the shit that just wears you out. Because he did the Shantix commercials, didn't he? He did like I need
Oh
help
yeah,
quitting.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which, by the way, have you ever known anyone that's done that? Shantix?
No.
Let's not get
Wait,
off the rails
you
here,
know,
but I
you
knew a
know what?
guy who did it.
Actually, okay. Are you gonna say like Crazy Ass Dreams or something?
Yes. He
Yeah.
drove down a one-way road while half asleep because he thought demons were chasing him.
What the heck?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you sure
But
this
anyway,
wasn't Ambien?
guys,
This was.
what?
Are you sure this wasn't Ambien? This was Chantix.
As far as I know, Chantix. But I've seen a lot of people post. Obviously, he's known for playing Henry Hill in Goodfellas, and a lot of people mention Shoeless Joe Jackson in the movie Field of Dreams, which, by the way, I think is one of the most overrated movies, but especially sports movies of all time.
Yeah.
But if you really want to see Ray Liotta at his best, you watch the movie Unlawful Entry. It's from the 90s.
Okay.
It's a great movie. It's so under the radar and underrated. But he plays a cop who all right, so you have Kurt Russell is also in it, who's one of my favorites. Yeah, everything he does is awesome. And who's the female? Madeline Stowe. So Madeline Stowe and Kurt Russell are a married couple. They have this beautiful home. There's a home invasion. This guy comes, tries to rape Kurt Russell's wife. Ray Liotta and his partner, who are cops, show up, go over the situation. And then Ray Liotta kind of just like freakishly, like very grossly kind of ingratiates himself into this house, into this home, like becomes friends with them really quick, and then starts becoming inappropriate with her. But he offers to take the dude out and like see what the police do. And he finds the guy who broke into their house. And he's like, oh, you said you wanted to kill him. Just kill him, like right here. It's like, dude, it's a very good movie, man. It sounds dark and a little bit twisted, which it is, but it's awesome. And Ray Liotta is awesome in it. So anyway, it's called Unlawful Entry. Go check it out. That's Ray Liotta at his best, in my opinion, other than Goodfellas, obviously.
Gotcha. Have we talked since Ozark ended? Did you ever finish Ozark?
Stop right there. I have not. So don't.
Really? Dude, come on.
I know, I'm pissed.
You act like you've been moving or something. Jesus.
I know, I'm pissed. I want to finish it. We'll talk about it when I finish it.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, Ozark's never going to be old. Also, Wendy Bird is the biggest piece of shit ever.
Dude, oh my God. Every season that I always end up texting you and saying,
she gets worse.
I know. It's so bad.
The writing of these characters is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I hated her from the start, which is obvious. You're cheating on your husband.
Yeah.
You suck. But fuck, I hate her more. No. The cheating on her husband thing is like the least important thing about her that I hate,
Yeah.
But yeah, don't tell me anything. I have not finished it yet.
Okay.
Shit. But so tell me how was Point Fest?
Point Fest what? Yeah, it was.
What number was that, by the way?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Point Fest was supposed to be Saturday, which I was pretty excited for because it was my birthday.
Oh shit, that's right. Did I wish you a happy birthday?
I don't know.
Let me do it now. Happy birthday, dude.
I appreciate that, sir.
What a birthday present, though, huh?
Yeah. So we went and ate on the way up there, and then we went to. Let me
stop you real quick. Because festivals typically start pretty early, especially one like this. What time did you leave your house?
So doors were originally supposed to open at noon. So we left our house around like 10:30. Because I knew I didn't need to be there until like 1:30 or so to see a couple of bands that I really wanted to see. I know that makes me sound like a terrible person. I need to be there at noon to watch all of them. I get it. Yeah, like Patrick Blair would do that. I highly doubt.
I show up early for all the bands.
I'm sure
you keep talking. I'm going to grab a beer. Keep talking.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
Anyway, so on our way up there, they announced that, of course, there's going to be storms and this, that, and the other. So they start postponing. They push the doors back. Then all of a sudden, they cancel the 2 side stages.
Yeah.
So then my Facebook is flooded with just like all these bands who are, I think, were pretty upset because, I mean, of course, because they didn't get to play, especially the freaking Richters, man. The Richters is the second year in a row they got booted from from Point Fest. Either way. So apparently they were originally going. So do you know the musician Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
You know Jelly Roll. So he was supposed to be on the side stage, which apparently a lot of people were mad about.
Thought he should have been main stage.
Yeah,
It's blowing up. It's blowing up big time.
I got into a wormhole of comments on this Point Fest thread.
Okay.
Which was not good. I was like reading them to my wife, like, people suck, man.
What did they
People
say?
freaking suck. Well, just like the whole Jelly Roll thing, people freaking out because he should have been main stage. He's the only person that is worth being on, or the only person that's worth being on the bill for Point Fest. All the rest of the bands suck, all this other stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Tell that to Papa Roach's accountant.
Exactly.
He's doing okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Go ahead.
I'm sure he doesn't care. So,
Yeah.
anyways, they originally were going to move Jelly Roll to main stage after they canceled the 2 side stages. So then they told us they were going to make an announcement on when the doors were going to open. So we actually went to the
casino. Can I stop you real quick?
Uh-huh.
So at this point, and I'm asking this because I legitimately don't know. So 2 stages have been canceled. At this point, who are you waiting to find out if you'll see on the main stage? Who are you waiting to find out if you'll even see?
Are you just asking me who was playing on main stage?
Yeah, what was the main stage lineup? So two stages have been canceled. We still have potentially have a main stage. Who was it?
Papa Roach was the headliner.
Okay.
Hailstorm.
Okay.
Wolfgang WVH.
Mammoth WVH.
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. W is Wolfgang. And then they would have moved Jelly Roll to main stage. And I feel like there was one more.
LA Royale. Shaman's Harvest.
So those were on side stage.
Okay.
And our friends in Brook Royal, they got booted.
Yeah. Oh, Highly Suspect.
That's it. Yeah.
Did that guy put a shirt on ever?
I don't even know what he looks like. Is it just one person?
No, they're a 3-man band, but the lead singer's always doesn't have a shirt on just to show off his chest tat. He put a shirt on. Go ahead. Anyway.
So we actually went to the casino because it's right there next to.
While you're waiting to find out if it's happening.
Yes.
Okay.
So they say doors are going to open at 4. So around 3:15, 3:30, we go ahead and leave the casino and get in this massive traffic jam. I mean, like not moving for a half an hour.
Of Point Fest people who went to the casino like you did?
I'm assuming it was regular traffic on top of all of the people who had already gone to the parking lot of Point Fest, then seen the announcement that they were canceling Point Fest, and everybody was leaving at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we didn't until 4:00 see the announcement on Facebook that they had canceled the show. So we're dead in the middle of traffic. And then it starts pouring down rain as we're driving home.
So you went home?
We did, yes.
Did you intend on staying? Did you intend on staying in town, going to the festival, and then getting a hotel or something?
We weren't doing the hotel thing. No, we were.
You were always going to go home?
Yeah.
God, you guys are soldiers, man. I guess I have a drinking problem, huh? There's no way I would drive back to where you live.
Well, listen, one of us was going to be spending their birthday pretty hammered at Point Fest.
Yeah.
The other one was be driving home.
Did you at least get hammered?
Not really. I had 2 beers at the casino, and that was about it. I was pretty bummed. The day was.
It's a bummer. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bummer. So I was mid setting up for this event, and my wife texted me. She's like, "Point Fest was just canceled." I was like, "Damn, that sucks." But it had me thinking. I remember going. So I was I was playing a canceled Point Fest. A little bit different. It wasn't due to weather. Chris Cornell died.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But I remember I went to one, and it was one that I did not play, but I went, and it was similar weather, rain, but it was so cold. It was and now I didn't prepare for the cold because it wasn't that bad earlier in the day, but that night, it was one of those nights where it just gets chilly. But I was out in the rain all day, drinking, doing drugs, just being an idiot. And I remember going backstage, and someone looked at me, they go, "Dude, your lips are purple." legitimately purple. Have you looked at yourself? And I'm like, nah, I don't have any idea. So I remember getting a ride back to the hotel at the casino where I was staying, showering, taking a hot shower, changing my clothes, going back literally in like winter gear, like coat, hoodie, like skull cap, like totally like, and I went like jeans, t-shirt, like everything's going to be fine. And then it started raining and it started drizzling, started raining, got a little bit colder. Yeah, dude, I was in bad shape. But that one didn't get canceled. Everyone played because it wasn't heavy rain like last Saturday, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But then it made me think about, I went and saw Aerosmith at the same venue with who opened, and we actually, Three Doors Down opened, and we watched them, and then this storm hit, dude. I'm talking hail, tornado warnings, fucking everything. And we were, again, I'm special, so I was in the backstage bar where everybody, you know, regular civilians don't go. So like we're sitting there watching the weather on the TVs, and there's no way Aerosmith plays. There's no way. We get a message over the loudspeaker that says Aerosmith's going to wait it out. They're playing regardless. And we're like, we're going to be here till fucking 3 a.m. Don't they have like curfews and shit? So luckily, like that storm cut out like 30 minutes after that. The band came on. They probably started an hour late. And goddamn it, if they didn't play their entire set, they're like, we don't give a fuck. Nice. We're playing, dude. But it starts raining in the middle of their set during Sweet Emotion, maybe. I swear to God, dude, it was so poetic. Like, I have photos of this and I can't find them anywhere. I know I have them like saved on some electronic device, but yeah, like I have a photo of like, because I was like under the thing, so the rain was hitting our backs, but not the front of us. And like, I have a photo of the rain on the lawn, right, with like people with their hands up, and then I have a photo of like me selfie, like, hey, I'm dry, but look at everyone else. Dude, it was crazy. That was a cool show. I'm not the biggest Aerosmith fan either, but that was awesome. But I couldn't believe they didn't cancel that show. And so that's why when I got the news that Point Fest was canceled, I was like, wow, that was, but I guess it's different. You got all those bands to worry about, not just two. And, you know, they're just, it's in front, like insurance and all that bullshit.
Do you think that Goo Goo Dolls has the most epic?
It's the most epic live performance of any band of any genre of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man.
Google, for those listening, Google Goo Goo Dolls playing Iris live in the rain.
Yeah.
It's the most badass live video I've ever seen.
It is insane.
It's insane. How did they do that?
I don't know. Would you stay on that stage?
I wanted to at the block party, motherfucker. So here's the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I found someone, now that I'm on Facebook again, won't be for long though, trust me. But now that I'm on Facebook again, someone sent me the full set of us playing that show. They got it from the back. Okay.
You only played like, how many songs did you play?
I want to say four.
Okay.
But so they sent it to me, and in the back where this person was sitting, you can't even tell it's raining. So we get done with the song and I addressed it. I go, I said to the crowd, I go, guys, I think we're done. I think they're going to shut us down. And then like someone was like yelling at me, like, yeah, you're done. You got to stop. And then people started booing. And I was like, it's not me. It's like, what do you know, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to continue. I didn't care, obviously. But yeah, you know what? In the back of my mind, I swear to God, before we started that song that eventually ended the set, I was thinking about the Goo Goo Dolls. I was like, dude, I'm going to get like this epic, like I'm going to be soaked. Like it's going to, didn't get it. It also wasn't raining that hard. The Goo Goo Dolls one is nuts. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
Like they are so like, it's a torrential downpour.
Yeah.
I don't know how the venue, like they must've like, was that in their hometown? They're from Buffalo, maybe. I think that was in their hometown. And I think that's why I know
it was in New York, but
that's their hometown then. Yeah. So they were probably like, no, we're not getting off the stage. No, we're staying. We have the insurance. You're insured. Everybody's insured. Fine. We get electrocuted. We'll talk about it later. But like,
right.
Yeah, dude, that's the most epic one. Have I sent that to you before? Did you know what that was before knowing me?
I'm pretty sure I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. You know
So
what I sent you recently, and you commented on it, and it's something we've talked about on the show. I sent you the raw vocal tracks for like, what did I do? It was a Toxicity and what else?
no, I don't think it was Toxicity. You sent me
Aerials,
Numb.
Aerials.
Aerials, yeah. You
Yeah,
sent me Numb by Chester.
yeah. I seen you Nirvana. I seen you Kurt
Yeah.
Cobain. Yeah.
Yep. Nirvana. Yeah.
Well, your response was like, "This is amazing." Like, dude, it's
Oh,
so
they were
cool.
awesome. And I posted that in our Raised on the Radio uh group and on the page I have on Facebook for us.
Oh, you
And
did? Okay.
yeah, I got quite a few other ones too. Like there's a really good one by Steven Tyler.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah.
But before we move on, it's kind of a bummer, but did you see the latest news about Steven Tyler?
No.
So I think it was yesterday, they put out a press release saying that they were canceling their first run of Vegas shows that they're getting ready to do.
They have a
Because,
residency, right?
oh, do they? I'm not sure. It
I
wouldn't
thought.
surprise me if it's Vegas, but anyways, they put out a statement saying that he had surgery and he's been working on his sobriety for a long time. Well, he relapsed and now he has checked himself into rehab.
What the surgery have to do with sobriety, though? What?
I'm assuming the pain meds that he got put on have pushed him back to other stuff. That's what my guess is.
Yeah, he was sober for a long
So
time, though, right?
I think so.
Dude, that's one of the most infamous drug bands, though. Aerosmith. They went
Yeah.
hard. They went
Yeah.
hard in the fucking paint on some fucking partying, dude. If you ever watch their Behind the Music, and I know there's another documentary about it when they were making like toys in the attic and all that bullshit, dude, they fucking partied.
Does any other band have as many albums as Aerosmith? Don't they have like 23 or something like that? It's a lot.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but I know they're up there. Bands with the most albums.
Yeah, I guess we do have Google in front of us, huh?
You don't have to hold a mic and do it, but I'm doing it one-handed. Don't worry about it. I got you, dude. Which band has the most albums made? Mark E. Smith and the gang have released 100 albums in total. Okay, top 10 rock and metal artists who released the most studio albums. The Melvins, Rolling Stones, Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa has 109 albums.
No freaking way.
I'm sure they're all outstanding, and they don't sound like.
I mean, how do you do that? Do you put out like 10 a year?
Motorhead had 22 albums. Really? I did not know that about them. That's pretty cool. The Melvins had 26 albums. The Rolling Stones, 29. Hawkwind, 30. The Fall. Who is The Fall? Oh, yeah, that's yeah. That's the band. The Fall is the band that like there are so many bands that call them like their heroes, like Sonic Youth and like those bands like that. They had 32 albums. The Residents, 44 albums. The world's most mysterious avant-garde band from Louisiana. They've been active for 48 years. Acid Mother's Temple, 74 albums. Frank Zappa, 109. Buckethead has 302 albums. Wow. Remember when Buckethead joined Guns N' Roses? That was funny.
I don't know who Buckethead is.
He's a guitar player. Look him up. I'm not even going to try.
Wait, that's a person? I thought that was a band.
No, it's a dude. He wears a bucket on his head.
Okay. Really? Man, how long did it come up with that name? That's nuts.
He's played with Guns N' Roses, Primus. Those are the two biggest ones. Guns N' Roses and Primus. No, I didn't know that Steven Tyler was. That sucks. Dude, he's old too. How old is he? He's in his 70s, right?
I think so.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
He is a huge inspiration on me. I think I've told this story before, but he is the reason that I want to sing God Bless America at a sporting event. Have I told that story before?
I don't know. What was I'm assuming he did at a sporting event that
he
moved
did.
you?
I saw him do it at a Cardinals game, a playoff game, nonetheless. Dude, he killed it, and it was so awesome. He was like, he may have, now that we're talking about it, let me get rid of Google here. Now that we're talking about it, homeboy might have had a few in him when he did that because he was like super party mode, like, and I can't do his voice at all, so I'm not even going to try. But he was like, "All right, St. Louis, are you ready?" Like he was like pumping the crowd up, and he had like his 16 bracelets on and a scarf and all that shit. Dude, he rocked it. But it was so good. It was so good. I was like, that is what I want to do one day. 74 years old. He was born in 1948. Been around forever.
Yep.
Steven Tyler relapses, postponing the launch of Aerosmith. Well, have you seen the way Joe Perry looks lately?
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, man. What a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh. But Yeah, that sucks about Point Fest, man.
Well, so before we move away from that, I can see both sides of the scenario. Like I can see how Live Nation and The Point and all of them tried their hardest to get this show to go on. But in your opinion, if they had to cancel the side stages, should they have even attempted to keep the main stage going? I understand you have big artists who are making big money and to just, cut the bill early in the day. I get it. That's probably not the best look, but I don't know. I don't know if they should even have tried to move on after that or not.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a good attempt. I mean, it's a good attempt at like keeping people there. And, are you going to go to the makeup show?
Maybe it just depends on how things go.
Yeah. Do they have a date for that yet?
They haven't yet. I mean, I can't imagine. Like I actually looked at some of the websites for a few of the bands, and some of them are getting ready to go on tour and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if people really know like how much goes into putting together a festival like that. And Point Fest isn't even a massive festival, but big enough where you have big bands. It's not easy to be able to put all of them together on one show.
Yeah, well, what they do is they buy tour packages. So a lot of those bands are on tour together right now. That's what they do. I don't know
Well,
if you knew that, but
I was looking at that, but I don't know. Like all those bands, I don't think any of them were, because Papa Roach isn't on tour right now. They go on tour in like July with Hollywood Undead and Bad Wolves.
yeah.
And then Jelly Roll, I think, is on tour with Shinedown, or he was at least. So I don't know.
That's typically what they have done in the past.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but who knows? Maybe not this one so much. I could guess that, like, if I had to guess which two of those bands are on tour together, Highly Suspect and Palais Royale, or however the fuck you say their name. Okay. I would guess that those two are on tour together. Maybe with Wolfgang. Wolfgang. It's a bummer. I felt bad. I didn't have any intention of going, obviously, but I'd like to have gone. But I mean, I had other shit going on. But
that's a venue. I imagine that most of our listeners probably know what Hollywood Casino Amphitheater is and how it's set up and everything. But man, that's got to be a tricky situation for Live Nation or The Point or whoever's putting on a show there when it does come to rain, because, you're going to lose probably 3/4 of the people that are on the lawn. They're not going to come. And they're probably going to get their money back or, something along those lines. They're going to lose their money there. Any of them that you do, a lot of times they'll move the people from the lawn up to the seats.
Right.
Just to get them underneath the pavilion and stuff. But I don't know. That's got to be a hard thing to maneuver.
Yeah, man, it's not easy to do these things ever. We talked about this when we talked about Astro World and all this other shit. Like, dude, these things are not easy to do. That's why there are companies that specialize in this, that employ hundreds and hundreds of people to make sure these things go smoothly. Even when it rains, you would think like, oh, bad weather, that's easy to maintain. And like, no, it's a nightmare. I would hate to be the person calling the shots in that situation. It's got to be stressful. And I remember I want to say it was Lollapalooza I went to, but it rained the beginning of the day. And then like, you heard chatter of like, are we going to have to cancel Lollapalooza? Which is like, obviously way bigger than Point Fest. But luckily they didn't. But, that's got to be stressful on everybody working and like putting all the like the legwork in to make sure it goes on. Fuck that. I would hate to be in that position, Yeah. But, I was thinking about another, this had me thinking about it too, but I was thinking about another festival that I went to Rock on the Range one year, and this has nothing to do with the show being canceled. It just had me thinking about when you go to a festival, you go for specific reasons, right? Like, who did you want to go see at Point Fest? Who were you like anticipating seeing? Papa Roach, probably.
Yeah, Papa Roach was probably the most.
And probably like people, like Brooke Royal and
Yeah.
Okay. So, which is great. That's what you do. That's why that's why those festivals are just loaded with big bands that everyone knows, and you do it. You do your thing. But I went to Rock on the Range one year, which is in Columbus, Ohio. And that year, this show particular that I'm talking about, Papa Roach played, but specifically Smashing Pumpkins were the headliner of the night were they the main headliner? Yes. Main headliner of the night I was going to. So like, I'm not the biggest Smashing Pumpkins fan, but I hadn't seen them yet. The like bucket list, like, and also I named a band after lyrics of theirs. Like, I got to see them. So midway through the day, I'm with a buddy of mine, and we learned that he has mutual friends. Well, the mutual friend who got us the tickets and got us in there, essentially, who also gave us backstage passes. He also has something to do with the band Black Veil Brides, right?
Okay.
So like, we are in the bus area or whatever, and like, my buddy's like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to him and let him know that my buddy's blah 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 blah. And I'm like, really, dude? Like Black Veil Brides? Like we're about to go hang out. So like, I had my judgments. Not my favorite like music. Like I respect them. Not my favorite music. Like I don't really, I know all the online hate that they get and all that bullshit. So at the time, I was just like, okay, dude, yeah, it's fine, dude. We hung out with them. And we had such a blast hanging out with their road crew and a couple of the guys in the band. We're like throwing a football around. We're throwing a Frisbee around. We're getting hammered. We're smoking weed. We're doing all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at my watch and I'm like, holy shit, guys, it's 10 p.m. It's dark. We've been partying all day. And I go, it's 10 p.m. And they're like, yeah, so what? I'm like, dude, when did Smashing Pumpkins go on? They're like, are you serious, bro? You haven't heard them for the last hour? I'm like, no way. Are you serious? Did I miss them? They're like, dude, yeah, they're playing their encore right now. I'm like,
oh man.
I was like, okay, this is what you get. Got a party. That night was so bizarre too, because we left there after doing that, got in a cab, was going to a bunch of downtown Columbus bars. The cabbie doesn't turn on his meter, right? And he's on the phone the entire time. And I go to my buddy, I'm like, hey, dude, I'm not paying for this cab ride, because he's just going to give us a random number when we pull up to the bar we're going to. It's like, I'm not paying. I'm like, I'm jumping out, and I was like, I'm getting out and we're walking away. He goes, you're not serious, are you? I'm like, totally serious. We're not paying for this cab ride. And he goes, dude, don't do that, please. I'm like, hey man, toughen up, dude. We've been partying all day with Black Veil Brides, right? Get it together. So sure enough, the dude pulls up and he goes, $40. I'm like, nope, open the door. And I just start walking. And my buddy is sitting there. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, get the fuck out of the car. And he just jumps out and he starts running full sprint towards the bar. I'm like, but calm down, because we're causing a scene now. We still have to get into this place. And the guy's yelling at us. I'm like, nah, bro, you didn't turn on the meter. Sorry. I'm keeping it calm. And the door guy at the bar we went to, which by the way, told my buddy, he's like, hey dude, you got to take your hat off. That's a flat bill. You got it on backwards. Take it off. It's not going to happen. But the door guy's like, what's that about? I'm like, he didn't turn on his meter. He was just going to charge me a random amount. He's like, oh yeah, they do that here. Go on in. I was like, and then so while we're there, we meet this dude who played baseball for Ohio State, just got drafted by the White Sox. He's celebrating the fact that he got drafted. So he's buying everyone shots. He's partying. And won't say his name, obviously, because this does not make him look great. But so buying everybody shots, and he goes to us. He's like, where are you guys from? We tell him where we're from. He's like, oh, I fucking watched the Cardinals growing up, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, yeah. So we're talking to him, and he's like, you guys should come back to the house. And I'm like, what house? He's like, my house. Frat house. So this dude wants to walk in two stupid, dumb hardheads from St. Louis into a frat house at 4 a.m., right? You can only imagine the type. We're like, who the fuck are these guys? By the way, my friend puts his hat back on. He's got on sunglasses at 4 a.m., walking down the streets of Columbus. He's got street meat. He's got street meat. I don't know where he got it from, because I didn't see any vendors. I think he just walked into someone's house and made a sandwich and then came out. I didn't see any vendors, and he disappeared for a good 10, 15 minutes. Like, I was like, dude, where'd you get that? He's like, up the street. I'm like, All right, where? Because 7-Eleven doesn't serve you white bread. I'm like, what are you talking about? So we show up to this house, man, and it was actually pretty fun. Like we sat on the porch and like chatted with that dude and the two girls he was with, and it's fun. But then
Did you know this guy ahead of time with you being a big Ohio fan?
did I know? No, I had no idea who he was. No,
Does he still play?
I'd have to Google it. I don't think he does. I don't think he ever made it. I don't think he ever made it. He probably still plays minor league baseball.
Okay.
Potentially. But no, I didn't know who he was. And I also like as big of a Ohio State fan as I am, which obviously was a topic of conversation, but I didn't follow the baseball team. Like I don't follow college baseball that closely. But yeah, I mean that was obviously some, hey, so I started talking Ohio State football. He's not originally from Ohio, so he was kind of like, dude, I don't give a shit. I grew up liking wherever the fuck maybe Wisconsin or whatever the fuck he's from. But it was a weird night. So it's like 6 a.m. We're like, oh shit, we need to get back to the hotel and sleep for 1 hour and then drive home. This is going to be fun.
Oh, you drove there?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's like 6 hours. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible drive. I mean, save the money on the flight, spend more on drinks, obviously.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course.
I guess it's better than having to get up the next morning, like on 1 hour sleep and go to the airport.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse. I mean, I stayed up that entire drive and I honestly probably stayed up the rest of the night the next day, but those were my younger days. I guess. But before we get out of here, man, I really wish we had podcasted after this happened, but give me your thoughts on Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson.
I don't know what kind of thoughts to give. Like I'm glad it ended the way it has.
Now, why do you say that?
Because I'm a big Michael Chandler fan, and
I think Tony Ferguson is surrounded by terrible people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another guy who wears his sunglasses inside all the time, which really annoys me.
He does do that. And they're nerd sunglasses too. That's the worst part about it.
He still has an arrogance about him too, which I know like that could possibly be like an MMA, like a fighter thing. But in loss and in victory, he has an arrogance about him. Even when he's trying to act humble, his humble is arrogant.
See, you used to say that to me, and I didn't really believe that until the Gaethje fight. When Gaethje beat his ass and Gaethje tried to go up to him and he pushed him away, I was like, whoa, bro. If Chandler had done that, I can understand why Tony Ferguson would push somebody because he didn't know what, dude, he was in that octagon and they were reading Buffer was doing his thing. He didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
I don't like the guy. I think he's kind of a turd. And it's the arrogance, but also he's just a dork who, like, dude, if you're a nerd, just be a nerd. Don't talk shit.
Yeah.
Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it to be insulting. Like, I don't think he's like a nerd like Colby Covington is a nerd. Like, Colby Covington is a dork who dick rides and then tries to like project this other image of himself. Right. I just think Tony Ferguson is a dork who's confident and he owns it. That's why he wears baseball batting gloves and like gas station sunglasses inside. Like, I don't think he doesn't project like this coolness that Colby Covington tries to.
Yeah.
But, I didn't believe that until that Gaethje fight. After this fight, I was like, dude, I just feel bad. Like, that was so brutal. It was so devastating. And like, he didn't know where he was. And the craziest thing about that fight to me, and I've rewatched it seriously, like really like probably 25 times. I said 100 before we started. That's an exaggeration, but probably like 20 times, 20 to 25.
And you've watched it this many times just because you want to see the kick over and over again, or you want to see the fight leading up to
just the overall vibe of that fight is really what gets me. That crowd was pro Tony. He somehow, like you said, like there's an arrogance about him and you don't like it. It won over fans, dude. When's the last time he won a fight? Donald Cerrone, right? Which was 2019.
It's been a minute.
somehow he's still a fan favorite, and he's fighting a guy who also is a fan favorite because of the last fight he had with Gaethje.
Well, do you think when it comes to that, do you think Michael Chandler is a fan favorite in the UFC?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I think
Okay.
people like him a lot. Yeah. Yeah. And
I don't
if
know
they
that I don't
didn't,
know
they do
I don't
now.
know I don't know that they did when he first came in. Because
No, but
he was the
those
Bellator
people are
guy when he came
uneducated.
in.
If you've paid attention, that dude is a savage. He's been a
Yeah, for sure.
monster, and he came to the UFC 5 years too late, man. He went through absolute fucking wars in Bellator, and I really wish when he extended his contract with Bellator. Nothing against Bellator. I watched most of the Bellator events, but
Yeah.
I think when he extended his contract, I wish he had just signed to the UFC instead, because if you look back and he signed that contract right around, not before, but I think it was right a little bit after Eddie Alvarez became champion. And those two have some of the most epic fights in Bellator history. So if you think about a guy signing with the UFC who gave it to your champ, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, how do we not? But but now he's like 36, right? How
Is he
much
that
time
old?
is left? I want to say he's 36.
Okay.
So, but dude, him and Connor would be so much fun. That's what I want to see.
Dude,
But
I mean,
honestly, he should probably
my
fight
thoughts
for the
on
title, dude.
him. So you know me, and you know that I'm always in the camp of no matter how much I like you, you should still, even if you're the champ in Bellator, if you come over to UFC, you should start lower on the totem pole and work
Right.
your way back up to a title. But if you're a guy and they throw you to the Wolves and you're doing pretty dang well against the Wolves, then maybe let's get you in the title picture.
I agree. And he's one of those guys that I think just, because he has the ability to, I think he can beat anybody in the top 10, even Oliveira. He was this close to beating Oliveira in that fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he probably gets a title shot, unless he wants to hold off on the McGregor fight and get a big payday, which ultimately is what it will be. But does that headline a card, though? Or is it the co-main of a card? It probably headlines a card, right?
I mean, I would think it would have to.
It's got to,
But
right?
why not do it now?
Connor's leg is still healing. Like, I don't think he's ready yet.
Oh no, you're talking against Connor.
Yeah.
Okay. In my head, I was thinking rematch with I was thinking Oliveira and.
Oh, if he fights Oliveira, yeah, that's headlining a card for sure. And I think he should, to be honest with you, because
But that's what I'm saying. Like, make that a headlining card and get the title back in the because the title's just sitting there right now, right?
Yeah, well, that's the best thing that could have happened to Chandler also, is Oliveira missing weight.
Yeah.
Because now the title's vacant, and you make a case like, well, look, I'm the next guy then. I could see if Oliveira didn't miss weight and won in convincing fashion like that, and you go, maybe we give him somebody else like Makhachev or like one of these other guys, Dariush. But Dariush should fight Makhachev because that fight never happened. And then you give the winner of that fight a title shot regardless of who's champion. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, that knockout, dude. God, man. I've never felt bad for Tony Ferguson ever, but I did in that moment. I was like, oh, that is the worst possible way. Like, and Tony was doing well on that fight too. And I know everyone said like he dominated the first round. Like, Chandler took him down. He landed some elbows from the bottom, which Tony's known to do. I don't think Chandler makes that mistake again the rest of the fight, like taking him down and being in his guard,
Right.
But who knows?
One of the things I'm interested in hearing too is like when a kick like that happens or something, you'll always get in the post-fight interview somebody saying, were you planning on using that kick at some point? Do you see, when you watch tape of Tony Ferguson, do you see openings like that to do it? And for me, I would rather hear them say, no, it just happened. I don't know why. I
kind of said that, but
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just like the idea of that because it shows how good a fighter is, because it's an opening that they weren't really expecting was going to happen. And they just decided to try it and it worked.
Well, yeah. And he doesn't throw a lot of front kicks either. So
right. Maybe he should.
Fuck fucking worked.
Because Tony Ferguson's head is still in the stands in that venue.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.